Fish in the Mid-South, and we are at the Agricenter Boat Show. I have been talking a lot about the Nucanoe Unlimited. I have not had the ability to lay my hands on one, and today I do. We have S.I. Wilson and Company. They are based out of Arlington, Tennessee, just north of Memphis. So here's kind of the catalog. You get the Flint at $10.99, the U10 at $16.49, which is the unlimited 10, the unlimited 12.6. I thought it was 12.8, but it's 12.6. $18.99. We've got different options here for the different motors and such. And so you got the 360 Fusion seat, which is standard on this. Some other options here. You get your gear pod. You talk about the black packs, Nucanoe short pack, the track packs, foot pegs, rod holders, casting bar, all that kind of stuff. So we got different prices in there. So they are a Hobie and Nucanoe dealership. We'll start from the back on this. This is a Tennessee trailer. I think they said it was $2,500. This is actually, I think, last year's model. It's set up for 2 canoes.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, we can.
They've got the Frontier over here on the right, which is going away in 2025. But they have the Unlimited, which is still around. So starting at the back, they have the pivot drive on this. And this is a very interesting propulsion method. So instead of having the propeller or the fins going through the floor, this is a solid floor. There's no hole in there. You do your pedaling up here, you've got the belt drive, pivot drive, and you come back on this that carries the cable, which comes back here and eventually spins the propeller. And you've got your steering here. Comes with the rudder, or the steering, I should say, comes with the pivot drive, because you need to be able to go back and forth. Now the pivot drive is an option on this. The way the kayak comes from the factory is going to be with no drive. So it's going to be a pedal kayak or a paddle kayak, but you can do a pedal, or you can add a trolling motor on these. You can add one on the front and do a bow mount, or you can add one on the back and do a stern mount. So one of the many nice features about this, so you've got track for days, right? You've got 2 rod tips up front. You've got short tracks here. You've got a long track, which is also what the seat rides on, going all the way back to the next set of tracks. And then you got, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 inches, and then another set of track. So you're going stern all the way to about 2 feet from the bow, you have track. Now the pivot drive rides on this track as well. You can adjust your seat forward and backwards once you loosen up the nuts, and that allows you to trim it the way you want. So if you want to have a whole bunch of weight in the back, and a cooler full of ice, and a black pack full of every bass lure you've ever seen, then you could trim the seat forward so that you're not riding bow heavy or stern heavy, or vice versa. If you have everything up the bow, you do it that way. So you get the under seat storage. This is this is a Yak Gadget item. That fits under the seat nicely, so you've got some storage that you can put in there. They make a gear pod that comes up front, would sit up in this area, up here in the front. And the purpose of that is you want covered storage, because there are no hatches on this other than for the wiring access. So you got an access port in the back here, and you've got this port up front, and this is one of those covers that you can take off, drill into, etc., so that you're not drilling into your actual kayak. It's already been done. You also have the wire options here on both sides near the cockpit. In the front, you've got a semi-rigid handle, or rigid but flexible. You've got the 2 rod tip protectors for your rods. You can run one up one side and down the other. You got your side handles here, molded in, and they do have the hollow out center so that you can stick your power pole or your paddle in there. I should say a stakeout pole, not a power pole, because the power poles are going to be mounted. You've got a tackle tray here, or space for tackle tray here, and again on the other side. That looks like it'll hold $3,700. Sorry, I keep trying to rotate it the wrong way, and it doesn't want that. Now they call this their tarpon drainage system. It has scupper holes everywhere. So your first one I think is going to be up under where the pedal drive is sitting, and you've got gear track under here as well. You got another scupper hole there, and this has a good depth. It's, I don't know, close to 1 inch of depth. So everything is going to drain it. It helps to channel everything down to the scupper holes so you can have a dry ride. Pardon me. We got a whole bunch of tie down straps back here and more scupper holes, and there are the scupper plugs if you want to use those. I'm pretty sure there's not a bag in there. You may be able to get a bag that goes in there to give you a little bit of dry storage. And then on the rear, you've got this handle, which goes up and down so that it can get out of your way when you don't need it. You've got 2 rear-facing rod holders, but they're very, very far back on this one. You don't have a forward-facing rod holder like you have on like the Old Town Sportsman, and you've got a cup holder on each side as well, each side of where the seat naturally would sit. Like I said, you can move that up and down, back as far as you want. Let's see, past that. So here's how you got the transom bracket that the pivot drive attaches to, and it's similar to what you're going to see on the back of the Frontier 12. You get the hole that everything goes, so you get the mounting hole here. Both of these kayaks have the plug here right at the rear. I don't quite understand this on kayaks. You would think you just put it on the rear of the keel so that you wouldn't have to turn your kayak over to get water out of it if it gets inside the hull. So your scupper valves or scupper holes are going to drain anything that gets up on top of the kayak. But if you happen to get water in, either through the rod, a hole in the rod tubes, or your hatch is loose, or any of the wiring holes that you do. And what's interesting, you can see down in there, a little bit of water down in there. I do like the rod holder that have a cover that goes over and locks that in place, because of course they have bottoms in those so that they don't drain into the hull. The covers would be nice for when they're not in use. Now let's go over here and look at the Frontier 12. So this one has a lot of similarities with the Unlimited. This you can get, of course, this with the motor, and this is what the motor mount's going to look like. Again, this can go. They have a motor mount like this for the Unlimited, and if I get one, that's how I'm going to want to rig mine as well. Hey everybody, good to see you, Lisa. Good to see you, James Bailey.
Hello.
Aiden, good to see you. Have a good day, my friend. So this has the XI3. It's got the 55-pound thrust. It has, they don't call it spot lock, but basically it's the same general idea. Push a button and it's got the anchoring. Now the 12 does have a hatch that's built in up front. And it's got a bag in there, so you've got our liner. So you can have some dry storage in there. They've got looks like a 50 amp hour ProGuide lithium battery in there. Fits nicely. 100 amp hour would also fit based upon just looking at it. And then they've got the rubber handle cover, rubber cover to lock it in place. And of course, this should get track up front on both sides. Down both sides, again, the seat rides on top of that. It also has that same swivel seat. And they've got a whole bunch of different items. So that's why your catch boards are sitting here. But you can see there's a little water in this one, because this one does not have that tarpon drainage system. What it has is it tries to drain, it holds more to the edge as opposed to the tarpon drainage situation where everything is pushed to the center. So the water is going to come out very easily on that. And your scupper holes on this one are on the back. The plugs. Again, you get a gear track everywhere on these. I assume the anchor cleat came standard on these. So I don't think he's really added anything other than the motors. The motor on this one and the pivot drive on the other. Pardon me. And just going back to the Unlimited. So one of the things that is really, really nice on these Unlimiteds, and I'm sure, oh, there's my clip right there. So these seats, if I remember correctly, are made by Millennium Marine. If you've ever sat in one of the Millennium Marine seats, you know they're good quality. They're adjustable, of course, with the adjustment over here on the right side. You tighten up or pull down to let the back sit closer or further away. And so with my Old Town Sportsman 106 Minn Kota, one of the problems is I don't have a lot of flexibility and I am not a skinny guy. So basically everything in the back of my kayak is mostly inaccessible to me while I'm sitting there. Hey, Scotty, my friend, good to see you, good to see you. Well, Scotty, I'm going to buy me one before I buy you one, my friend. So with this one, you just kick your legs up and you can turn around and get access to anything in the back. You can fish sideways if you want, or of course you can fish facing forward. Now, the Nucanoe Unlimited, if I remember correctly, you know what, why don't I go ahead and read it off of here? It's a whole lot easier that way. Probably not take a whole stack of cards here. So on the Unlimited, the max capacity is 650 pounds. Now, that is not exactly correct. It is correct, but it's not correct. That's with the scupper holes plugged. So if you got all your plugs in, you can run around with 650 pounds on this thing. The self-bailing capacity is 400 pounds, and that's the important one. That is how heavy you can load the kayak and the water still come out of the scupper holes. So, you know, you get hit with a wave or whatever, you want that drainage. I did not bring the scupper plugs from my Old Town. They probably would fit, which would give you a kind of their one-way valve. I like that about them. And then you can seat two people on here. You could push this seat backward, buy another seat, and put a buddy seat up front. Again, that's great because with the pedal drive, etc., you can move the pedal drive back and still have space up front, where you can't do that with normal kayaks. 80-pound thrust available is the max for it, or 2.5 horsepower. Comes in Army Camo, Hazard, Thunderstorm, and Tundra. And if I remember correctly, this is the Tundra color, the gray. So it's 41 inches wide. And that is, let me get my little crusty dusty measuring utility out. So that's going to be the maximum width. So not necessarily the top of the gunnels, but on the side because they do flare out. So the important thing here is the space between the gunnels is a little over 21 inches. I'm sorry, not between the gunnels, but of the floor. It's about 21 inches. Okay? So, whereas in my Old Town, which has about 36 inches wide, I actually have a little wider of a cockpit. But what I don't have is the track system that goes up and back and forth, or all the way up and down, I should say. I don't have the swivel seat. I don't have the seat that I can move back and forth, and so on. So there are pros and cons. The other thing that my Old Town has is the motor is going to be about right where the pedal drive is here. But this whole area down here is elevated by the motor, so I don't have a flat floor. And while this doesn't have a flat floor, I could cut out a piece of laminate or sheet plastic or something there and actually have a flat floor for when I throw things down into the floor. Because this is made, like I said, to allow everything to come down and drain appropriately. So that is the Nucanoe Unlimited. It's shown here at $17.99. They've gone up to $12.99. Or I'm sorry, $18.99. Go check this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're $18.99. And not shown the Frontier. Again, they no longer have those in 2025. This is a 2024 that we have here. So I found this store on Nucanoe's website, actually, because I did not know that I had a paddle shop anywhere near me. And so this is all the kinds of stuff they carry. So of course they carry fishing and stuff, and they carry bags, and he said they've got some Amish like jellies and jams and such, and music, shirts, and just kind of a little bit of everything. Of course, this is a boat show, so they brought out their boating stuff more than anything, the fishing. They are also a Hobie dealer. Of course, we have the different Hobies, and I couldn't tell you one from the next. Pretty sure that's the Pro Angler 14 over there. Be nice with the names on the side there. It's the Quest 12. That's Quest 12 for what it is. Everybody loves, well, their flagship, I should say, is the Pro Angler 14. This thing is huge. So it's got this huge tank well in. And when I say huge, I'll get out my measuring stick again. So up the front, it's about 24 inches wide. Front to back, just of this rear area is right there, about 34 inches. And again, you've got a rigging plate here if you wanted to put on, run wiring in your hull, etc. Now, one of the big selling points of the Hobies is a 360-degree pebble drive, which allows you to basically you can turn the pedal drive while it's in there. So there's your handle to turn the pedal drive while you're pedaling. And this is the only kayak that I'm aware of that you should ever use a scupper hole mounted wheel system. It's real simple. You just plug it in up into the scupper holes and drag it where you want to on the wheels. Don't do that in an old town, or you will be buying a new kayak that is not covered under warranty. They are not made for that kind of stress, whereas the Hobie is designed for that specific system. Hey, Rod, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you. So with the Hobie, you also have this, which is very nice. A hatch down here, and when you articulate it, it rolls those 360 or those 3600 boxes up for you. That is just fantastic. And get this down, lock it back into place. Of course, you've got the nice sea deck on it. You got the kick-up fins, whereas that Nucanoe is a propeller drive. This is a fin drive. And then let's take a look at the front hatch on this thing. For a front hatch, that's actually very, very large with having a liner in it. Of course, the liner does come out if you want to access down into the hull. And I'm not sure what that's for, but probably a Hobie accessory. And all your Hobies have the access for the H-rails here, as opposed to the gear track that most have. They went with the H-rails. These are really sturdy, really strong, nice to have. I don't think this was an add-on, but you can get pieces like this for other kayaks from like Navarre Kayak. They will make, so you get a little bit of tool storage. You have 6 rod tip holders, protectors up front. They actually go in through the hole and protect the hole. So that is our beautiful friend, the Hobie Pro Angler 14. They are not inexpensive. I won't even venture to guess how much that one is. And as you can see, this Quest 12.5 is significantly narrower. And then you got the Mirage Compass over there. Let's see. Walk around and do a little more looking. It's a boat show. We're not going to be looking at boats. Boats are too blasted expensive right now. When you have to get $70,000, $80,000 just to get into a low-end bass boat, thank you, but no thank you. So I was interested in this store, and I want to show you some stuff that they have. So this is the first time I've been able to see a, what's that brand name again? 13 fishing reel. Now that, granted, that's a $30 reel, but it took the spool off, and whereas even the Fluger President has a metal drag clicking gear, that one's plastic. So I don't have to take it apart any further to know what I need to know. But you're looking at your Mr. Crappie 9 or 10-foot rods for $15 a pop. We got some Lewis Customs for $75, or 2 for $140, and the 13 Fate green rod for $45. So they've got a lot of different crankbaits. Most of them look like they're running around $5. But I was real interested in this one. This is the Zebco Big Cat rod. And what I found interesting about this medium heavy Big Cat 7-foot rod is it can handle a weight, line weight, of 8 to 17 pounds or a lure from 1/4 to 3/4 ounces. I have no idea what kind of big cats they're trying to catch with a 3/4 ounce combination of weight and bait. So there's that. Again, a whole bunch of bass stuff that, you know, I'd be sent to hell if I actually covered. But Bobby Garland's for $5 a pack. Now, how this is different is these are bulks, right? They're 50 count. So 10 cents a bait. So you got 50 count packs. They've got it in the electric chicken and the crystal, the electric chicken glow in case, you know, your bait's not glowing enough. Blue ice, blue grass, the Cajun cricket, monkey milk, they've got everything. It's nice to see that kind of stuff out here. Rooster tails, $3 a pop. Some of the Bomber Rebels, $3. Got some bass jigs and stuff like that. More bass stuff. You'd think they would bass, fishing for bass anymore. But I was real interested in the $15 for a Mr. Crappie rod is not a bad deal in any time. I was hoping that our other local kayak company would be here. They're down in South Haven, Mississippi, so about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes south of Memphis. But I have not seen any more kayaks here, so if that happens, we'll do another video. But I just kind of wanted to give an idea of all the stuff that they have here. We got boats upon boats upon boats upon boats upon boats. Now here's a Power King. Now this is interesting. It is not a long one. I would say maybe 16 foot. But look, Jody, if you ever watch this, you got 2 seats. You got this one side seat. You got a front casting deck. Of course, you got your drink holders up on the sides, which are really important. A little bit of storage there, and cigarette lighter plug. Molded in ruler there, and then you got some storage here, which is actually not spring loaded, but strut loaded. So there you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cup holders. So you have lots of room. Just saying. Because Jody is looking for another kayak or another pontoon. And of course we got golf carts, because who doesn't go to a boat show looking for golf carts? I would never go anywhere but a boat show looking for golf carts. And then we got the side-by-sides and some music that's probably going to get me copyright strike, but who cares, because one thing I need to take away monetization I don't have. And we've got some Supreme boats, You know, the ones we want to shoot when we're on the water, because all they do is run by all those anglers and spread their nasty ass wakes that make us want to murder them. And then, you know, more of the, those boats. Here you go, Jody. Nice big Avalon, nice big Suzuki on the back, and if you have any friends, they can lounge back here. Not only can they lounge in comfort, but the cup holders can change color on you. I mean, if that is not a selling point, color changing cup holders, what is? And now we're back in the wake boats. None of them come standard with targets. I think you have to put your own targets on these if you want to shoot the wake boater as they go by. Not that I would ever condone such actions. I would. Oh, look, we even have lights on the back to change color because... And we talk about how other countries make fun of our excess and our need for excess. It is kind of bad. Again, more crappy wake boats that should be banned from the world. I'm actually glad I don't have opinions. So here we are into funny looking catfish boats. And I say they're funny looking catfish boats because they're not really catfish boats, but it doesn't matter. We got our G3s. It's a sportsman, so you could put catfish in there, and they couldn't. They couldn't get you arrested for doing that. And one thing I do like that my tractor doesn't have. Look at that nice step they've got right there to get up on the front deck for all those old fogies. Then you got the pretty sparkly boats, because bass won't go into a boat that doesn't have sparkles. And then what you have here is the Hummingbird television, just in case you want to watch TV while you're out on the water. You can't see that live scope. You got to have that television. Or you can do the way I do and just flip your kayak over and go down and see them for yourself. Now, I don't know if that's a comfortable seat, but that does look comfortable. Kind of has that gamer chair look to it. Of course, Skeeter's been around forever. They make good boats. As much as I like to make fun of bass boats, here are our Sea Arcs. Your Sea Arc is going to have aluminum deck with a, I won't say it's bedliner finish, but it feels kind of bedliner-ish, bedliner-esque. Of course, nice giant boat. Oh my God. Oh my brother in Christ, do you see that? $62,495. And it's aluminum. Has a swing away top. Has two up front seats. This thing's got to have, mine's got an 8-foot beam. It's got to be 9 foot at least. I'm not even sure these are legal to carry without a wide load sticker on them. Man, what a giant boat. Look how far those seats are back from each other. You got the air ride suspension. You've got the big gray Suzuki. That's got to be at least $250, probably $300. It's only $200. What I gotta say, folks, size does matter. That's what I've heard. That's not what I've heard. I don't know what I've heard. Now, this is a nice option. You got the steps that are mounted onto the trailer, which is nice when you start getting as old as I am. This one has seating for 4. You've got the diamond plate deck on it. You got stuff. And you got a big Suzuki on the back. I didn't see the price on this. It can't be. Surely it's not $58,500 on sale here. Normally $65,000 down to $58,500. If that's not a bargain, I don't know what is. But it does have a very nice bimini top. Not that cheap $100 stuff you get off of Amazon with the little round tubes. It's the square tube stuff. They don't cheap out here. And in case you came to the boat show. Did I say boat show? Boat show. Looking for a four-wheeler, they have those too. And look at that, a four-wheeler for only $11,549. These are interesting to me. We're actually going to have to take a moment on these. I didn't realize these were here when I walked through. Sea-Doo pontoon boats. They aren't cheap, but these are the Sea-Doo Switch. Whew. So you've got this rack system or rail system here. add these rod holders. Of course, you can slide them up or down, move them around. You've got seating for two up front. Place you can mount your fish finder on here. This is a nice amount of boat. This is a lot of stuff. Jody, I mean, if you want to pull a tune on, this will do it. This is a Switch Fish, so they have different models, but this is the fish model. And you've got this side panel that goes down, but it's Velcroed on if you want to take it off. And this has a handle on it. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but you got your ladder that pulls out here. Again, you got this track system going almost all the way around it. You've got storage in the floor. You got two seats up front plus this seat, another seat, and then two back seats. So this has got at least 6, and this side one over here that I'm looking at, I've already counted as 1. You've got 2 more seating for 8, and you're not going to get cramped up here. Again, a lot of those floor tiles have storage underneath them. It's a nice boat. So here's the different options. You have the Switch Sport, the Switch Cruise, and there are different layout options available. So some of those panels you can move around on the floor. Like if you wanted to move a seat around, for instance, you could pick up the panel, unlike the panel, move it around. Here's another one of the switches. This one's got a swim platform just like the last one did. And y'all can see way more than I can up there. Very interesting. It doesn't have a steering wheel. It's got a seating style steering pod. 230 horsepower Rotax engine. So it's a 230 horsepower jet drive, basically. And it even has the, whatever those things are called. Trim tabs. The trim tabs on. Apparently you're not supposed to step on the engine. Who knew? I guess maybe somebody did in some way. So these are really, really nice. The seating also, they actually have fishing kayaks now, or fishing sea-doos now. These are not them, but they do have them. Rod holders on them, all kinds of stuff. You can put a fish finder on them. But in the end, it's still seating. It's still a whatever personal watercraft. So, but there are options, additional options. I've seen people using these out in the Gulf. So if I had more money and I knew what to do with, these would be options. But the fact of the matter is, I really love my kayak. I love kayak fishing. Kayak fishing gives you a closeness to the water, a closeness to nature that you don't get in a boat. You can get as close to the water as you want, like I did by, rolling it over and that kind of, you gotta have a little fun out there. And we are back at the Nucanoe Unlimited. This was, like I said, this was worth the price of admission. This is the reason I paid the admission. I wanted to come see one of these in person. And for a kayak this big, it's 12.5 footer, if it says on here, I want to say it's like 78 pounds. Let's see if this has the specs on it. Yeah, they are $18.99. See, it's all really went up. It does not show the weight. Let me check the little book and see if it tells me. Whole weight, 84 pounds. And the other one we're looking at, that the Frontier 10 is not even in here because these are all 2025 stuff. So they had the U10 and Flint and the Unlimited. I thought they still had a couple of other ones, but I don't see them in the book that he brought. So there we go. I ain't talking to doing none. I don't know what that means. If you tell me I'm not listening. Oh, everything's terrible on fuel and oil. Hey, Outlaw Vault. Of course I can't catch fish. Have you seen me try to catch fish? Come on, bro. We've all tried to see me catch fish. Ooh, I got a whole bunch of stuff I need to read. I'm not good at reading. Y'all know that. Yes, I'm really hoping that Jake will finally send me a kayak, but you know, whatever. Lisa, you're so sweet. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Said hi to Root, I'm sure. If I didn't, then hi. Hey, and Jazzy Fishing Maniac. That is Mark. If you haven't checked out Mark's channel, Mark likes to go live in the mornings until about noon central, roughly. Lately, he's been fishing the ice, but, you know, whatever. It's what he has up there. But he fishes for catfish, he fishes for crappie, he fishes for yellow perch, he fishes for a little bit of everything. And while we're talking about a little bit of everything, hey, there you go, Scotty. Just in case your zipper needs any. Just saying. We got some bobbers, we got all kinds of fun stuff. A fishing rod spreader and tote. Okay, cool. So it uses little pieces of pool noodle to keep them separated from each other. And then it has the strap that you can strap over your arm, over your shoulder, and carry them around. So that's nice. So that's what we've got for now, folks. Thanks for joining, and if I find anything else great, I'll put a video out about it, because you know how that goes. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you next time.